Hello, everyone. Welcome to Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. I am your host, Ryan Doze, and today I am flying kind of solo for a special Marvel Comics previews episode. Later on in the episode, we have some callers that sent in their thoughts, namely Eric Teskey and Faz, two of the members of our little merry band here, Hercules, and one of the other Warriors 3. We are incredibly excited for this upcoming week of new comics. Normally, we don't preview new comics because normally we're talking about one book. We're talking about Immortal Thor, or we've been talking about Captain America because of the J. Michael Straczynski story involving Thor in that book. But this Wednesday has kind of culminated in a perfect storm, a perfect thunderstorm, if you will, of Thor-related titles, Thor-adjacent books, and of course, Immortal Thor 18. So we're going to talk to you a little bit today about what we can expect from Thor, Magni, and of all, Alligator Loki. We got so many different things going on, but we're going to talk about 4 issues that we're going to be talking about on the next episode once they come out. We're excited to get together to talk about these books, but we were even more excited to speculate about these books because each of them had a preview come out, multiple preview pages came out. So we're going to try and keep it mostly spoiler free, but just know all of this information is readily available on the internet, and you can go to several different sites for preview pages that have been released by Marvel. So just making sure, you know, that there will be a little bit of spoiler here, but needless to say, we are very, very excited for these books. So let's jump in. Let's start off with Immortal Thor 18. It's legacy number 779, written by Al Ewing, art by Jan Bazaldua, and a fantastic Alex Ross cover. Very excited for this book. The cover alone, having the gods of Midgard reflected in Thor's helmet. It was a fantastic cover when it was released a little while back, and now we get to see what's inside of this book. The synopsis for this title goes like this. Thor versus his oldest foes. On Asgard, Thor had been outplayed by the Enchantress, and their game would have vast consequences for the Golden Realm. And on Earth, the self-styled gods of Midgard made their bid to take the kingdoms of humankind for their own. This is the story of the Immortal Thor and the heir to the throne of all. So, a little bit of a spoiler for you if you did not read Immortal Thor 17. Amora the Enchantress kind of pulled one over on Thor and used the All-Father's force to bring one of her sons back into existence. And it just so happened to be Magni, one of Thor's sons from the Dan Jurgens run many, many moons ago. Magni is maybe not a name that is well known amongst modern, more recent Thor fans, but those of you from the late 90s, early 2000s are probably pretty familiar with this name. He did stick around in the Jan Jurgens run from about issue 68 to 79, establishing himself as a supporting character here. So the preview pages that are out there wide and available on the internet show us that Magni is questioning why he is where he is right now, seeing as he comes from an Earth where this Thor does not exist. So they talk a little bit about that, and there is a sweet little moment there at the end of the preview pages where Thor says, basically, let's have a catch. And then he tosses the hammer at Magni. So I believe that's the end of page 4. So we only get what I'm assuming are the first 3 to 4 pages of this issue. Fantastic to see that the art is really being further dialed in. Jan really finding the groove on this book. And Al Ewing is continuing to combine several different runs of Thor within even just this preview page alone, with Magni from Dan Jurgens' run. And there is a reference, a very, very awesome reference that I don't even want to tell you right now, because I feel like it's for Thor fans, it's going to be exciting enough. but there's a reference to the Donny Cates run of Thor that made this Thor fan very, very happy. So very excited for Immortal Thor. I think it's going to be another great issue, and we're just a few issues away from the big all the artists kind of coming back. Immortal Thor 19 is going to be kind of a big hodgepodge of different artists coming back and telling a Tales of Asgard style story. So I would look for Immortal Thor 18 to kind of have a big ending or a conclusion to something, because we know 19 is going to be a little bit of an anthology, just based on some of the previews and some of the information we know about that book itself. The next book we're going to preview here is a book where Thor is guest starring in. That is Captain America number 16, Legacy number 766, written by former Thor writer J. Michael Straczynski, art by Jesus Saiz, and cover by Taran Clark. Taran Clark, I will say this, the artwork on these covers has just been so clean and so fun and expressive. This cover actually only has Cap on it, and I believe that is because this is slated as the last issue of this run of Cap. I believe J. Michael Straczynski is moving on to other things that involve the world of Thor later on. Next year, he's doing those team-up books, those unconventional team-up books, and we cannot wait to talk about Volstagg and Captain America teaming up. Very excited for that story. Cannot wait to see the big guy on the cover of a Marvel comic. It's been way too long, but here is the synopsis for Captain America number 16. The New Warriors 3, Part 3. Captain America, Spider-Man, and Thor are trapped in the mirror dimension, harboring Broxton's glory days, and ghosts of Thor's failure are ready to exact their revenge. Can Cap and Spidey help free Thor of his past, or is Broxton's history doomed to repeat itself? It is kind of interesting that this run of Cap is going to end pretty much in a Thor story. Like we love Cap, we love Spider-Man, but it's kind of fun to see Cap kind of cede the spotlight to Thor in his last little story here, because we are, Loki's here, Kelda, Bill, characters from Straczynski's run of Thor have shown up so prominently in this story. In the preview pages that are, again, I'm just going to say it again, are readily available on the internet, we pick up immediately after Cap and Kelda find out that the restore point that they've been looking for to set Broxton back is actually Bill the Fry Cook, the man of Broxton that Kelda fell in love with all the way back in Straczynski's run. Negative Loki and Negative Thor, the mirror dimension versions of those heroes, tell Spider-Man and Cap that they must bury them so that they may continue their own existence. There's been this push and pull throughout the story that for one version of Broxton to survive, the other needs to stay as it is. And our heroes are trying to bring Broxton back, and then the mirror dimension inhabitants of Broxton are not taking too kindly to that. Spider-Man is held at his throat by mirror dimension Thor, and then he just says, hey, by the way, there's someone behind you. And our Thor comes out of nowhere and just attacks Loki and Thor. As Thor and mirror dimension Thor wrestle, the ghostly adversary says to real Thor that it's his life force that he's going to be taking. And Thor says, hey man, you are more than welcome to try. The preview pages end with Spidey quipping, and he and Cap are taking Bill away out of the cell when Negative Loki says the heroes will never get out alive. So we start off this issue really, really hot, really like there's a lot of fire in this conflict, and I can't wait to see what the other 18, 19 pages of story that we get entail. I think Straczynski has a kind of a stroke of brilliance in this triple team up end of his Cap run. It is interesting that his run on Cap is essentially ending with a Thor story. and I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with that. I think that is it's going to provide a lot of fireworks at the end, and I can't wait to see where Cap ends up at the end of this run, but also where it leaves our guy Thor. Maybe there's more Thor stories to tell in Straczynski's run. Maybe this will somehow bridge the gap to that Captain America Volstagg story that we've got coming up next year. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities here, but I fully expect this issue to be a big smashing success because the story has been so much fun thus far. The next issue that we're going to break down is a big number one. We have TVA number one, written by Catherine Blair, art by Perry Perez, and a fantastically fun cover by Pepe Larraz. The synopsis for this issue goes, "For all times, always, the Time Variance Authority has long watched over the timeline, protecting it from dangerous variations that could cause the end of everything. Now, as the organization begins to expand its tolerance of variance, it's enlisted some new recruits from timelines that have been wiped from existence. Captain Peggy Carter, super soldier of her world, Gambit, dependent and aimless from the loss of his lady love, and, this can't be right, Spider-Gwen hasn't her own world been destroyed?" Now, I love the idea of this book for two reasons. Bridging the gap between Marvel Comics and the MCU. It feels like this is picking up right where season 2 of Loki ended, but not with Loki, with all the other supporting characters. For those of you that don't know, Catherine Blair is one of the writers from Loki season 2. So she's an author in many different things, TV, books, now comics. And she is the one that is kind of steering the ship here, it feels like, because we've got a lot of TVA to talk about. So the reason why we're going to cover this is because it involves, Mobius, B-15, Miss Minutes. I have a feeling we're going to see some other characters show up. Maybe we're going to see an appearance from Loki, the god of stories. I don't know what this series has in store for us, but one thing I did go back and do in preparation for TVA number one, in the first few pages, Gwen is talking to the camera, and there's a little editor's note that says, check out Gwen's current series, Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider. Fantastic series. I just started reading it, and I really feel like to understand where Gwen is coming from, that is a series you should be reading, because it kind of is a soft on-ramp into this book. At the beginning of the preview pages, Gwen is shooting a promo video for the new and improved TVA. Miss Minutes is behind the camera. Gwen doesn't feel ready for her lines. So she says someone else should do their video today, maybe like Mobius. And she pulls Mobius over into the line of the camera. Miss Minutes explains what's been going on in the TVA. Mobius, B-15, and Miss Minutes do a good job of bringing people up to speed on what's been going on since the end of Loki season 2 and jumping into this TVA series. Mobius and Miss Minutes argue when B-15 walks up. This gives Gwen a chance to kind of sneak away, and she gets out of having to do her promo video for that day. So I loved this preview. I can't wait to see what Gwen does in this series, because initially, when we're looking at the preview pages, I was like, Gwen? Like, when the cover came out, I was like, okay, Gwen's going to be in this. Peggy Carter, I kind of get. Gambit, this version, okay, cool. These are all characters that I enjoy, and I can't wait to see how Catherine and the team put them together to tell this story of the new and improved TVA. Really excited for this. Pepe Larraz covers will always get, my attention. Catherine Blair is a great follow on social media. She was just recently on the official Marvel podcast talking about this series, and our guy Eric Teskey is going to talk a little bit about that interview. At the time I'm recording this, I haven't checked it out yet. I am definitely going to check out that interview, because I want to know what her thought process was going into this series, and I just want to know more about what this new and improved TVA is going to look like. Our last book here is a fan favorite. Let's be honest. Alligator Loki has got a lot of fans around here. Namely, one happy man that's going to talk about it at the end of this episode. We have Alligator Loki Holiday Special #1. You'll Be Unto Ye, written by Alyssa Wong, art by Bob Quinn and Pete Pentazis, and cover by Bob Quinn. An Alligator Loki Holiday Spectacular. The Alligator of Mischief is back to save the holidays. Join Alligator Loki and his many friends, from the X-Men to the Young Avengers to several symbiotes, as they romp across the Marvel Universe, sowing chaos and camaraderie in equal stride. Don't miss a brand new story starring Alligator Loki and the real meaning of the holiday season. Family. The issue also collects issues 13 and 24 of the ongoing hit Alligator Loki Infinity comic for the first time in print. Now, in these preview pages, if you haven't been reading the Alligator Loki Infinity comic, there is very often no dialogue, no bubbles, no speech in this comic, told in a very silent, physical way. So from that, here's what I'm going to tell you I perceived from the preview pages. Alligator Loki and Loki are off by themselves, thinking about how they're going to decorate the tree that they have, while there's a group off to the side of Wolverine, Captain Marvel, Jeff the Land Shark, Bats, the dog of Doctor Strange, Captain America, Princess, who is the Carnage dog. They're all decorating their trees off by themselves. Thor arrives in a sleigh full of presents pulled by Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder. Thor tries to offer Alligator Loki a present, while Throg wraps them up in glowing tinsel. Alligator Loki and regular Loki storm off and decorate their kind of Charlie Brown Christmas tree, which gives Throg a good laugh. So Alyssa puts so much humor into this book without having to say a word, and I'm very excited to see what they have planned for this little holiday romp. We're a big fan of holiday comics around here. And these specials are just a way to kind of feed into the season that we're already all in, and I hope most of us are enjoying thus far. And this holiday special is gonna just be more Alligator Loki goodness. I can't wait to hear what Eric and Faz have to say about these upcoming issues. So I hope that you'll stick around, and let's go to Eric first. Let's have Eric share his thoughts on all these books that we're very excited about this upcoming week.
Is this thing on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Previews React. It's your boy, Eric Teskey. No, I'm just kidding. So this is going to be my spoiler-free preview hype session of the 4 awesome Thor books coming out this week. So it's going to be a huge week. We have Thor #18, Captain America #16, TVA #1, and Alligator Loki Holiday Special. Let's take a look at these in order. Again, spoiler-free hype sessions. I'm taking a look at the previews, and I'm just going to share some things that kind of stand out. So Thor #18, we're beginning with a recap of who the heck is Magni? Who is Thor's son? If you didn't go back and read Thor #68 through 79 of the Jurgens run, Al is going to briefly catch you up to speed, so you don't really need to know any of that stuff. He's going to give you what you need. And there's a lot of explaining of really sort of like, how did Magni get here? The preview ends with Thor doing something that mortal fathers are known to do, and that is having a game of catch with his son. How sweet is that? So you'll have to pick up the issue to find out what happens next. Moving on to Captain America #16. This is, remember, it's like the J. Michael Straczynski final arc, and he's calling this like Warriors 3 and bringing Thor, Spider-Man, and Captain America together on this 3-issue quest, and this is the final issue of that. Bill, son of William, remember at the last issue, he was alive. He's in jail in this negative, photo-negative dimension. Bill seems to be the key to all of this. He's going to, I think he's going to be the key to this. I think they're bringing him back to life. I think that's what's going to happen. Carlos Magno on the art makes the negative versions look incredible. They look 3-dimensional. They look like a photo negative. And we're going to get a Thor versus negative Thor fight scene. So we're going to see the light and the dark battling it out, Thor versus Thor. Moving on to TVA number 1. This is highly anticipated. I really think there should be more buzz around this than there is. This is going to be the first interior appearance of Miss Minutes. We've gotten some variant covers over the years, some of them that are quite pricey, and this is going to be Miss Minutes' first interior appearance in Marvel Comics. If you want to pick that up, I mean, that's reason enough, but the story also looks really cool. Who are these other clocks on the cover? There was an interview on the official Marvel podcast with writer Catherine Blair, and she says that we're going to get to see Doc Clock, who is an AI medical med bay sort of assistant. I think that's the blue clock. And then we have Sir Seconds, and he does tech support, security, monitoring the surveillance cameras and things like that. These are actually Miss Minutes' siblings. It's an older sister and her brother. So that's straight from the Marvel podcast interview, and that's a little bit of the who are these new characters. We're also going to get an alt reality Gambit. So that's near and dear to my heart. Gambit, so hot right now, having an amazing year ever since X-Men 97, ever since my own Halloween costume, ever since the Deadpool movie. So Gambit is just on fire right now. And we get this alternative reality version of him from a reality where Rogue has died. So he's probably fairly depressed and down and out. But we're going to see Gambit bounce back, hopefully, as he is known to do. Finally, let me just hype up for you the Alligator Loki Holiday Special number 1. This is going to collect a few of the issues from the Marvel Unlimited scrolling comic, the Infinity comic, but it's also got a brand new holiday story. So one of the first things that we see is a huge Yule Bak. Now, this is a Scandinavian decoration. It's a giant goat made out of straw, tied together with red ribbon. I actually have one of these on my mantle at home. I have some Swedish and German family history, so I've got a Yule Bak at home, and it's really cool to see that Norse, that Scandinavian holiday decor in this issue. We also see some Valraven. These are those super creepy crow monsters with the multiple eyes. The Valraven are getting in the holiday spirit. We see Frigga on her giant cat. No machine guns to be seen on this one, but nice to know that Donny Cates' Frigga riding a giant cat is making another appearance here for the holiday special. So those are just a few of the things, the teases that I saw in these previews. They get me so excited for the issues to come out. So make sure you pick these up. I can't wait to chat about them more in greater detail. I want to hear what you all think in the Discord channel. So make sure you join there. Chat with us about what you're loving in comics right now, what you're loving in the world of Thor. All right, that's all for me now. Eric Teskey signing off. Peace.
I don't know about you, but I really, really enjoyed the energy that Eric came into that video with. And typical Eric fashion, he's got little bits of knowledge here and there that, I mean, I honestly would have completely overlooked. So thank you, Eric, for sending in those thoughts. Awesome. Now let's close up the episode with our guy, the Fazguardian, giving his thoughts on the upcoming books that we have to look forward to this week in comics.
Good day, folks. It's me, the Immortal Faz. Very, very excited to talk about these upcoming books. I'm not going to talk about Captain America because I'm going to leave that for Hercules and Ryguy, but I'm here to be hyped about Immortal Thor 18. And, one book that's more important than any other book that there is. So Immortal Thor 18, obviously, finding out what's going on with Magni. The preview pages have me so hyped. Al is combining Jurgens, he's combining Kate's, and he's obviously weaving his own story. And it's just, guys, it's so good. I can't wait to see what happens. I need that book immediately. But, it's only the second most important book to come out this month because Alligator Loki has a Christmas special. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a huge fan of Alyssa Wong and everything they do around our favorite four-legged god of mischief. And I cannot wait to reread issues 13 to 24 and see what the Christmas special is all about. So that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you're doing well. Get fired up. It's a great week of comics.
Well, everyone, that about does it. Thank you for checking out this new comics preview of what's next for Thor, Magni, Alligator Loki, everybody at the TVA. I mean, it is going to be a fantastic week of comics. We cannot wait to talk about these issues after they come out, after they're out in the world, and we know more of these stories. It's going to be a giant-sized, a king-sized, a all-father sized edition of new comics the next time we come to you, so be looking for that. And we have a special Christmas present for you. On Christmas morning, we're going to be dropping a special episode. We understand you're going to go open presents, you're going to drink hot chocolate, you're going to be hanging out with friends, family, but if later on in the day you feel like checking out your Christmas present from the guys here at Across the Bifrost, there's going to be something under the podcast tree for you. So you have that to look forward to. If you want to check out us on Patreon, we have a link in the episode description. You can support the show there for just a few bucks a month. You'll get early episodes, bonus episodes, and you're going to know what's going on for a lot of other people. So we have one up right now where we're going to be talking about, what are our plans for early next year? What are some of the creators we've talked about covering after we wrap up the Simonson saga? That is available for you. And also, you just honestly help us pay some bills around here. It's the holiday season. It's the season of giving. And if you wouldn't mind supporting us, that would be great, just to help us pay for some subscriptions and some comics over here so that we can give back and entertain you a little bit with our takes and our banter, I guess. So you can also follow us on Instagram at Marvel Thor Podcast, and you can check out the Discord. There's a link in the episode's description there. I know Faz mentioned this in his video, and Eric also mentioned this in his. They're like, we want to continue this conversation. Discord is a great way to do that. So everyone, until we see you next time aboard the Rainbow Bridge, just hope that wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, you remember to do one thing, and that is to stay worthy.